Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Hello everyone, greetings to one and all. Myself, Dr. Jignesh Patel, Associate Professor and Controller of Examination, Children's University, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. At this juncture, I thank UGC, Human Resource Development Center of Gujarat University, for giving me an opportunity to connect with you and deliver my lecture on consideration for curriculum design. At this juncture, I also thank Professor Jagdish Joshi sir, Professor and Director of UGC HRDC Gujarat University Ahmedabad, for giving me an opportunity to present my ideas and consideration regarding curriculum development. At this juncture, I also appreciate the work carried out by UGC HRDC Ahmedabad, because it's a kind of HRDC which is involved in number of training programs. Even this HRDC has started innovative programs, just like online refresher courses, online induction programs, and short-term courses, and so on. Even this HRDC is also running a UGC CAD listed journal. So this HRDC has made MOU with UK and Canadian University. It is ranked as the 15th HRDC in entire India, and very dynamic leader this HRDC has in the form of Professor Jagdish Joshi sir, and entire team is working very wonderfully and connecting people from international level to national level, and invite the resource person from n number of organization and eminent institute of Gujarat and India, and at international level as well. So not telling too much about this HRDC, because it's my words are not enough to praise the work carried out by UGC HRDC Ahmedabad. So not wasting too much time, I'm going to start my presentation on consideration for curriculum design. So we can say that the four different concepts are very much important in curriculum design, and those are syllabus, textbooks, curriculum, and curriculum framework. So while talking about these four different topics, we can go one by one. So we can see the chart that curriculum framework is on the base. Apart on the basis of this curriculum framework, we can say that curriculum is there. After drawing the curriculum, we can say that syllabus is there, and at the end, at the top, we can say that textbook is there. So now what these four words depicts? So first of all, we can say that curriculum framework. So curriculum framework is a summary of educational issues facing curriculum development committees, and discussion of how state goals or the national goals and the standards related to those issues. So we can understand these issues, or we can understand this curriculum framework by explaining or by watching this one of the chart. That is, you can see this chart, number of terms are there. So on the top, we can see that, and in the center, aims of educations. So what are the aims of educations? So according to the aims of education, we have to frame our curriculum in the same way that these aims are at a broader level. So in India or in Gujarat, we can say that the committee or the eminent professors or eminent educationalists decide the goals on the basis of international goals as well. We have millennium development goals. So on the basis of this kind of goals, we have to frame our framework. So those are the aims of education. Later on, we can say that stage specific objective should be there, and that should be in a detailed syllabus, or we can say that principle and content selection and organization, how the stage specific objective should be framed. That is also very much important. And on the basis of those objectives, we have to organize or select the content and organize the content in such a way that the aims of education or the state specific objective should be achieved. On the basis of this content, we have to select criteria for good methods. Which methods are there? Recommended, we can see on the right side, recommended classroom practices. So which practices should be carried out in a classroom, or which methods we have to use in a classroom. So selection of proper methods or proper techniques or proper approach is very much important in curriculum framework as well. Then later on, criteria for good material. So textbook and teaching learning material should be available to the students. So according to the availability of material as well, we have to frame the curriculum. So if we are framing the curriculum and the materials and the reference books are not available, then student might get be confused, or they might not get good reading material. On the basis they can develop their understanding regarding the issues or the problems or the content which is selected in the curriculum. And at the end, we can say that principle of evaluation. So evaluation scheme should be there, and how this evaluation can take place. So in which form the evaluation should take place, or we can say that how the whole process of evaluation can be carried out at the end of this curriculum, or at the end of semester or year. In the same way, on the left side, you can say that assumption concerning the human being and society should be there while while talking about the foundation of curriculum. So what are the assumption and assumption concerning the human beings and society? What the society wants, what the society demands, what is the expectation of the society? Those all things should be considered while framing this curriculum. Even the philosophical study of the nature, origin, and limits of human knowledge should be also kept in the mind while framing the curriculum. Assumption about the learning, how the learning will take place, that those assumptions should also be focused while curriculum framing the curriculum. In the same way, assume the understanding of the child and her context. So these are the very deeply these topics are very we can say that very deep, in the sense that we have to focus each one in a very detailed manner. Okay, so just think about the understanding of the child, what the child or what the students can understand, that should also be focused, that should also be assumed, that whether this content is appropriate to the child or the students, or his or her context, from which context the students are coming, whether they are coming from rural background or whether they are coming from urban background, they have exposure of these kind of things or not. All these things should be kept in a mind while framing the curriculum. This is another chart we can understand. On the left side, we can see that national educational goals should be there. So what the nation wants from the educational institution, that should also be focused. So national educational goals should be there. Those are framed by apex body of education, that we can say that UGC, NCRT, NCR, NCT, and so on. Number of national bodies are there, and according to that discipline, they have framed some goal regarding their particular discipline. So those should be focused. Even national goals should be focused. Then after, basic curricular framework should be framed. Then structure, in what sense the curriculum should be that should be also be discussed here. Then content standard, on on the basis of all these things, we have to follow the process, standard process, graduate competency standards, and assessment standards. Already we have discussed, so we are not going too much deep in this chart, but all these things should be kept in mind while framing the curriculum. So this is, again, we can say that national curriculum framework is there, and NCF 2005, that is developed by NCERT, that is National Curriculum Framework 2005. In the same way, we have National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education that comes in 2010, and again National Education Policy 2020 has shown that within 1 or 2 years we have a new curriculum framework for teacher education as well. So already the sittings and meetings are going on, and people are thinking about how the curriculum framework of teacher education should be. Recently, a number of meetings has been held at Delhi and various places regarding this curriculum framework. So this is curriculum framework. Now, what is curriculum? Curriculum is defined as the guideline of the chapters and academic content covered by educational system while undergoing particular course or program. So what are the chapters? What are the what are the courses should be focused? Content to be covered by educational system while undergoing the particular course. So this is depend upon the particular course, whether you are teaching in a B.Ed or M.Ed or BA, BCom, BSc, any course. So according to the course, there should be chapters, that should be a guideline, that should be a different papers, we can say that, or course, we can say that. So what the academic content should be covered, that should be focused in this curriculum. Then how this curriculum design will be take place. While talking about the curriculum, then we have different areas in a mind. Starting from bottom, learning theories. We have number of different learning theories. So based on this learning theory, this curriculum design will be take place. Then again, checking about the employability of the curriculum, whether this curriculum is able to give the employment to the students or not. So graduate work experience should be there, then key skills are there, then skills schemas should be there. So lifelong learning and introduction of different skills should be there. So all these things should be mattered while designing the curriculum. In the same way, institutional framework should be also be focused while designing the curriculum, because each and every institute has their own ideas, ideologies, and some of the vision and mission. So according to this institutional framework, the curriculum should be framed, because nowadays we have autonomous universities. In National Education Policy 2020, we have also autonomous colleges as well. Those who are doing wonderful work in the field of education, they have given the status of autonomous colleges. So what this college wants, so they have autonomy, so they can design their curriculum according to their institutional framework. In the same way, curriculum models are there. Some of the models are subjective based process model, objective based project models, then expressive model, and problem centered models. We are discussing these models in a detail in later on slides. Then level of achievements, how this process is carried out, how the achievement can be measured. So against the standards, for the standards, and standard framework should be framed to achieve, to check the level of achievement. In the same way, introductions, or we can say that assessment profiles and assessment strategy should be also designed. In this, assessment profiles should be checked, diversified assessment, different criteria should be there, and different types of assessment process is also focused in this curriculum design while framing the curriculum. The same way, control or independence, who the curriculum is whether independent, or means while framing this curriculum, who are the control, who is the authority. So how this curriculum is framed, then strategies to develop this curriculum, and teaching and study time allotted for the curriculum should also be kept in mind while framing the curriculum. Now lastly, we can say that what is syllabus? Then syllabus is a document that contains all the portion of the concept covered in a subject. The syllabus is designed as the documents that consist of the topic or portion covered in a particular subject. It is determined by the examination board or board of members and created by the professors or eminent educationalists. You can see the syllabus pattern on the right side. That should be time frame or the unit is also defined. In the second column, you can see the concept of syllabus, what the unit, what the topic of the content should be taught, and how much the weightage is given, how the evaluation process is carried out. So all these things has been cleared in a syllabus. Even activities, co-curricular activities, teaching learning process, reference materials, everything is provided in syllabus. Syllabus should be a comprehensive list of what to be taught is given. Then content items and process is given. How the syllabus will be delivered, that is process. Then order of, or we can say the sequence, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. That should be in a horizontal way. That should be discussed in a logical manner. Then objectives of the syllabus, time schedule should be there, approaches and methodologies to deliver this content or syllabus. Then recommended materials, or we can say that different reference books and websites, URLs, soft materials, online materials, blogs, website we can provide, and public documents, whatever are there, that should be covered in syllabus. Now, lastly, textbook. A textbook is a book of instruction. It is primarily aimed is not to impart information about a specific subject, but to enable one to develop proper understanding of the subjects. Presentation is extremely important and it is prepared to serve a particular level of readership. It cannot be comprehensive. So, what is the difference between the textbook and reference book? Textbook is a book of instruction. Whatever the subject or whatever the syllabus is designed, according to the syllabus, the textbook is prepared. So generally we can say that textbook is based in standard 1 to 12, but while we are moving to the higher education system, we have a reference book. Textbook is bound, means it is prepared to serve a particular level of readership. It cannot be comprehensive. You can see the word, it cannot be comprehensive. It is giving you the limited material on the topic as described in a syllabus. But if you want to get the more knowledge about the particular topic, you can research to the reference books and reference materials, so that they can get the knowledge about deeper knowledge about this content area. So textbook is mainly based for prepared for the students of schools, and reference books are there in textbook. Overall content, overall syllabus is covered, so student get idea about how the content, on which extent the content to be taught. So they get a frame of the content that should be mentioned in a textbook. Even textbook can provide reference links and extra reading materials as well, the source of material, not particularly source. So textbook is primarily made for the school students. Now question arises, how do we define curriculum? Curriculum is that which is taught at school or college, we can say that. It should be in a formal way of teaching, not in a informal way. So it is taught at college or schools. We can say that curriculum is a set of subject. It is not particular one subject curriculum is there. It is a set of subjects. Number of different papers are coming in this curriculum. We can say that it is a content, it is a sequence of scores, how the course will be delivered, and it is a set of performance objective as well. At the end of nowadays we are using even national education policy is also focusing on learning outcomes. So in the same way, performance objective should be there in a curriculum. So learning objective at the end of at the end of this course or curriculum, we can say that the learner has this much ability to deliver his knowledge in a society. How do we define the curriculum? Again, curriculum is a planned learning experiences for which the school or college is responsible. So, whatever the curriculum is there, according to the curriculum, school or college has to design their whole academic plan, and they have to provide different learning experiences, so that we just a few second back I had told about the learning outcomes. So based on the learning experiences, the learner has, we can see the learning outcomes in a learner. So college and school is responsible to organize, to plan, to manage this kind of learning experience. So through these learning experiences, they get knowledge, they acquainted with the content as well. Curriculum is all the experiences learner have under the guidance of school or college. That is, John Dewey says in 1959. According to Bundy and Wells, we can say that most common definition derived from the word Latin root is currere, which means race course, where the horse is running. So it also symbolically said that we have to run behind to complete the course or complete the content described in a syllabus or in a curriculum. So again, the Bundy and Wells says that for many students, the school curriculum is or college curriculum is a race to run, and while running this race, they have the series of obstacles or hurdles to be passed. So whether they want or not, they have to give the formative assessment test, summative assessment test. They have to carry out the project works and so on. Whatever the activities, whatever the task given by the teachers, they have to follow all these hurdles or obstacles while completing the curriculum. Curriculum as a discipline is a subject of study on the graduate level of higher education, or a major field of study as well. So, in number of courses, just like while talking about the Bachelor of Education in Education, Bachelor of Arts in Education, Master of Arts in Education, then Master of Education, Bachelor of Education. In this kind of courses, uh, number of papers or number of courses are there. These are the list of the graduate and undergraduate students take course in curriculum development, curriculum theory, curriculum evaluation, how the curriculum should be evaluated, even elementary and secondary school curriculum and curriculum in higher education. So this kind of courses are there, and we can say that curriculum as a discipline as well, to study, to do the research as well, whether the curriculum is proper or not. So all these things is considered as a discipline. Now, talking about the history of curriculum, three focal points of curriculum decisions are there. First one is nature of subject matter, second is nature of society, and third one is nature of individuals. So while taking decision about the curriculum design or curriculum framework, we have to focus all these 3 points, that is subject matter, society, and individual. How the subject matter? The nature of subject shows that content of the curriculum and what the subject matter to be included in the curriculum is very much important. The subject matter of history should be based on the events that actually happened in the past. So while thinking about the subject matter, we have to take the base of our ancient or our holy books, even the history, even the past, and that should be included in the curriculum. Even we have to think about the nature of the society as well. If the curriculum is to have utilitarian or functional value, then it must lead the students not only to knowledge of the external world for its own sake, but we can also say that knowledge that can be applied in the world. So, what the society wants, If we are thinking in a past, we can say that the British people has started education because they want clerks, they want babus, not for the sake of country, but they want this kind of people. That's why they start the numerical educational system with little literacy and numerical skills that can be depict or that can be instilled in the people of the India. But later on, then when we got the independence and afterwards we have different era. In particular, in each and every era we have different thinking pattern, and on the basis of that thinking pattern the curriculum is framed. Nowadays our honorable prime minister is focusing on the skill, and they give the skill India mission, skill India. So to instill this kind of skill, we have to frame the curriculum in such a way that the pass out students or the graduate or postgraduate students have skill in particular field. We are focusing nowadays skill, and we are promoting the skills as well. So in the same way, what the society wants, if the society wants more engineers, then we have to give the focus on the curriculum, or we have to focus on the subject matter of the engineering field as well. In the same way, if the society wants doctors, then we have to focus the curriculum in such a way that more doctors should be produced by the educational institution. So in the same way, nowadays the society wants the people with practical knowledge. So that is the skill India, that entrepreneur India. So to instill this skill, we have to frame the curriculum in such a way that they can get the proper knowledge. Constructive approach is also nowadays in a focus. So what the constructive approach tell to us, that we have to give them chance to they can construct their own knowledge with their own hands. We have to give them the situations, we have to give them the problems, they have to take the decision, they have to sort out the problems. In the same way, they construct the knowledge. So the nature is society is also important. And the third one is nature of individuals, how the individual should be. The third basic focal point around which the decision about the curriculum can be made is the nature of individual. The curriculum is also a set of suggestions to the teacher about how to take the advantage of present opportunities worthwhile for the growth of each student in a long run. So how the nature of the students are there, whether they are capable of getting good knowledge, then we have to make the system in such a way that they get good experiences, learning experiences, on the basis of which they get the knowledge. So we have to think about the nature of individual, nature of the learner, nature of the students, nature of the child while framing the curriculum. Then what is design? We are discussing two words, curriculum, design. So what is design? Arrangement of element of curriculum into substantive entity is called design of the curriculum. How we are arranging whole content, whole syllabus in a such a way that a meaningful output, meaningful learning outcomes we can see in the form of good students. Now, four major points, major elements of curriculum design. First one is aim and goal of aim, goals and objectives. Second is subject matters. Third one is learning experiences, and fourth one is evaluation approach. We'll understand one by one. Source for design, those are the science, society, eternal and divine sources, knowledge, and learn. Now, science as a source. What are scientific method provide a meaning for the curriculum design? Then curricula emphasizes scientific procedures and coincide with the scientific and rational world of the Western culture. So while thinking about the curriculum design, we have a science as a source of knowledge. We have a scientific procedure through which we get the knowledge. While while talking about the knowledge generation, we can say that scientific procedure we have to follow while gaining the gaining the knowledge. So science is considered as a very important source. In the same way, society as a source. We have a society, so school is an agent of society. Thus, the school should draw its idea for the curriculum from the analysis of social situations, what the society wants, how the situation of the society is there. So, considering the situation of the society, we have to frame the curriculum in such a way that should be benefited to the society. If society has some superstitions, then our curriculum should be focused in such a way that with the help of scientific method, we can remove that superstitions. So, society as a source. Curriculum design can be only be completed, understood if the contextualized socially, economically, and politically. So we have to focus three things: society as a source, then economy of the society, and political situation of the society as well. So 3 point again we have to focus while framing the curriculum or while considering the society as a source. Fourth one is Third one is eternal and divine sources. Draw on the past of guidance as what is appropriate content. So, while thinking about the appropriateness of content, we have to focus on the eternal truth revealed through such sources of Bible, Gita, Mahabharata, and Quran, so on. So, number of religious contents are there. We have to take the base of this kind of eternal and divine sources. Knowledge is source. We have two different ideas: disciplined knowledge and undisciplined knowledge. While talking about the disciplined knowledge has a particular method or methods by which scholar extend its boundary. So talking about the disciplined knowledge, we have to frame the knowledge in such a way that it extend the boundary. So it expand the knowledge again and again with the help of scholars. While undisciplined knowledge, this kind of knowledge does not have unique content, but has content that is clustered according to the focus of investigation. While focusing investigation, we have a different small clusters of the knowledge, and those knowledge is unique in a form. So that should be developed by undisciplined way. And further and above, we can say that disciplined knowledge that should be extended by the scholars. And lastly, the learner as a source. Learner curriculum should be derived from what we know about the learner, how the learner is, how he learns. So we have different learning style as well. Kinesthetic learners are there, then psychomotor learners are there, audio learners are there, visual learners are there. So how he learns? He wants to learn by learning with doing. He wants to listen something. He wants to watch something. He wants to do something. So how he learns, that also we have an idea or the knowledge about the process of learning. Then forms attitude, how the attitude of the learners are there, whether they have attitude of learning or not. If not, then how we can how we can generate the attitude that they are ready to learn. In the same way, generate interest, whether they are interested at present moment or not. If they are not interested, how I can create an atmosphere in which they are interested. And lastly, develop values. So nowadays we are talking too much about the value and value erosions. So how we can instill the values in learner, that should also be focused while thinking about learner as a source of curriculum framework. So we have, while framing the curriculum, we have to focus the learner as well. Who are our learners? At earlier also I told that whether they are coming from rural background, whether they are coming from urban background, they have from which family background they are coming, how is their economical status, whether mother fathers are learned or illiterate, that also be focused. So in such a way, we have to analyze the learner as well while thinking about the curriculum framework. Then conceptual framework, while talking about the curriculum design, we have to focus the conceptual framework, how the framework should be, whether it should be a horizontal organization or a vertical. While talking about the horizontal organization, the scope and integration should be there. That should be side by side arrangement of curriculum arrangement, side by side, one subject, another subject, third subject. In that sense, we have side by side arrangement of the curriculums. Then sequence and continuity. Then longitudinal placement of the curriculums, how this curriculum will be developed by the time frame, because any content or any topic will not finished within a time, within one lecture or two lecture or one semester or two semester. It might be possible that longitudinal placement of the curriculum arrangement should be taken into the consideration while uh, thinking about this organizational pattern. Then design dimension of the consideration. While talking about this consideration, we have to think about the 6 different consideration. First one is scope, sequence. What are the scope of the curriculum? Then sequence, continuity, integration, articulation, and balance. All these 4 or 5 content we have to focus. Now, how the scope? Scope, that means breadth and depth of the curriculum, means how the curriculum is broad and how depth in the curriculum is there, in the content of the curriculum, that we have to check. Taylor's definition about the scope says that all the content, topic, learning experiences, and organizational thread comprises the educational plan. So all the content, what are the topics are considered in a content, then whatever the learning experiences that we are providing, and organizational thread comprising the educational plan, all it covers in a scope of the curriculum development. Then again, need to need the need to limit the scope of curriculum through limited objectives. So while thinking about the scope of the curriculum, we have to think about the limiting, or we have to delimit this content in at some juncture. Otherwise, if we are making it as in a very broad sense, or very we can say that very broader sense, then it might be possible that students may be confused which topics should be covered in a particular topic or not. That is not clear. So while framing the objective of the content, we have to focus on the limitness of the content as well. Need to consider the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains of learning as well as the moral and spiritual domain as well. So while thinking about the scope, we have different domains of learning, that is cognitive, affective, psychomotor, moral, spiritual, emotional. So all these points should be covered while thinking about the scope of the curriculum. So student might get experience of cognitive domain as well. Generally, what we are doing in a present day situation, mostly we are focusing only the cognitive part of the curriculum. We never thinking about Means very rarely we are thinking about the psychomotor or affective or social or moral or spiritual domain. So while framing the curriculum, all these things should be taken into the consideration in a scope. Then sequence, vertical relationship among the curricular areas, so that should be vertical and horizontal, both kind of relationship, both kind of sequence we have to taken into consideration, side by side as well and from top to bottom as well. So both kind of the relationship we have to think in a curriculum development. In the same way, the occurrence and reoccurrence of the content and the experiences, so that the student will have opportunity to connect and enrich their understanding of curriculum presented or experienced. So we have to think the sequence of the content as well. In the same way, continuity should also be maintained. Vertical manipulation or repetition of curriculum component. So sometimes it is needed that we have to repeat the content as well. We have to repeat the some portion of the content as well. So we have to think about the continuity of the content as well. Sometimes it's happened that we start one point, we take one content in a particular course, and later on in a middle way we will lab that content in a separate part, and again we are not continuing the other part in the same continue. But after 1 or 2 year later, then if we are teaching about in first year BEd, then we are not particular taking that content in a second semester or in a second year first semester second semester, but later on in a third year first semester again we introduce the same topic. So it might be get that continuity is not maintained in this kind of case. So we have to think about the continuity of the content as well. Then integration of different subjects, types of knowledge, linking of all types of knowledge and experiences contained within the curriculum plan as well. So sometimes separate uh, content are there in a curriculum, but we have to try that linking the different subject in a one way. So we can also say that integration of the subject or integration of the content should be maintained while designing the curriculum. It enables the individuals to comprehend the knowledge as unified, not in a separate in a piece manner, but it should be in a unified manner. Then articulation. Then vertical articulation depicts the relationship of content, certain aspect in the curriculum, sequence to the lessons, topic or course appearing later in the program sequence. And while talking about the horizontal articulation, refers to the association between and among the elements occurring simultaneously. In the same way, we can say that while teaching the subject, we have to talk about the history, geography, math, science, along with the particular subject. That should be in a horizontal articulation. And while talking about the vertical articulation, we can say that it should be continued in a sequence manner. Balance, giving appropriate weightage to each aspect of the design so that distortion do not occur. So while thinking about the curriculum, sometimes we make one or two paper very heavy, while other two papers are very light, or we can say that very nominal values or credit we can give into them. So proper balance between the curriculum should be maintained. So each paper has equal weightage. If we are teaching with 4 or 5 papers, all 4 papers should have the balanced or equal weightage of content should be there. We have 3 different representative curriculum design. Already I have told about the models, curriculum models, about the curriculum models. In the same way, we have a subject centered design, learner centered design, and problem centered design. So we are discussing one by one in a detail. What is subject centered design? Subject centered design is focused on subject design, discipline design, broad field design, correlation design, and process design. So now subject design is based on the belief that what makes human unique and distinctive in their intellect and searching for the attainment of the knowledge are the natural fulfillment of that intellect. Curriculum is organized according to how essential knowledge has been developed in the various subject areas. So this is considered as a subject design. Discipline design based on the inherent knowledge of the content. That is based on the discipline. Discipline of arts, discipline of science, discipline of commerce. In this way, this design is developed. The manner in which content is learned is suggested by the methods scholars employ to study the content of their fields. The third one is broad field design. We can say that interdisciplinary design. Attempt to integrate the content that appears to fit together logically. So different subjects are there, different fields are there that should be interconnected in such a way that it should see that logically all the content fit together. Allows students to discuss relationship among the various aspects of the curriculum content as well as the wholeness of the meaning as well. So this is the curriculum here will be seen as a whole part of the content. Students are invited to participate through construction of meaning in a grasping the meaning or the meaning of the whole. So whenever they are learning something, they see they are learning different subject, but while coming to the end of the curriculum, they can come up with complete idea of entire discipline or entire field, not in a separation. So they can get mastery over the concept they are learning through that particular field. If they are learning about the mechanical engineering, they can have an idea of how the mechanics of different machineries or different uh, automobiles or anything that comes in their syllabus. They can see the whole, not in a particular type. Then correlational design, that is allow for some linkage of separate subjects in order to reduce the fragmentation of the curricular content. So that should be linkage in a separate subject. That is here in before design, in interdisciplinary design, number of subjects are there. Here in correlational design, two different subjects are have a linkage between the subject to reduce the fragmentation of the curricular content. So that should be linkage. That should be linkage in a content. Then process design gives attention to procedure and process by which individuals advance knowledge either in a specific disciplines or in general. That should be focused. Even emphasizes those procedures and depositions to act that enable students to analyze their realities and create frameworks by which the knowledge derived can be arranged. So here the process is more important. Not only the cognitive knowledge, but here psychomotor is also very much important. Psychomotor domain is also very much important because the students are looking into the process, how the things will happen. That is more important here. So process gives the importance in process design. The another design is learner centered design. We have already talked about the subject centered design. Here learner centered design, where we can also say this design as a child centered design, experience centered design, romantic design, or humanistic design. Generally two main are the design is considered as child centered design and experience centered design. So Student must be active in their environment if we are to optimize the learning. Curriculum should be based on students' lives, needs, and interests. So we can say that while framing the curriculum, we make the content in such a way, or we have to arrange the content in such a way that students are in in the focus of the curriculum, not the teacher. Here, more activity-based learning, more practical aspect should be focused so that the student must be active. If we are just delivering the knowledge through our mouth, through our lectures, through our speech, then student might get bored. We can say that teacher centered design, but here we are trying to focus on students. So students is a prime in the whole process. Even we can say that experience center design, everything has to be done on the spot. We cannot anticipate in the interest and need of the children. We have to provide them different experiences. As a teacher, we have to give an opportunity, we have to manage, we have to facilitate, we have to plan such an activity that students get experience and they construct their knowledge with the help of these experiences. In the same way, we can also say that romantic design as well. Individuals should gain those awareness, competencies, and attitudes to enable them to take control of their lives as well. Learning result from the interaction among the people. By changing the content and permitting different views about the content, as well as the from critique the purpose of the information presented as well. Lastly, the humanistic design. It empowers the individuals. The focus of the attention should on the subject nature of the human existence. So here, human values, human existence is in a prime focus. There is a relationship between the learning and feeling as well. Not only learning. If we are focusing the only learning, then feeling might get distorted. So here both the things are important. Learning, then we can also say that cognitive domain is also important, and affective domain is also important. That is affect, that means feeling is also important. Empower the individuals, stress the development of positive self concept and interpersonal skill. So these are the focus of humanistic design. Lastly, the problem centered design, that is again divided in three design: life situation design, core design, and social problem and reconstruction design. So what are these designs? So life situation design means persistent life situations are crucial to the society's successful function. It makes sense to organize curriculum around them. So we have to give the focus. We have to take the example or take the instance from the society or the life situation that gives the knowledge of the society and how the society is functioning. That is very much important. That's why life situation design is very much important in particularly arts. So they get an idea about the how the life is going on of an ordinary man. Student will see the direct relevance to what they are studying if the content is organized around the aspect of community life. They are living in a community, they are the part of the community. That's why they are much aware about the community life as well. And we have to focus our curriculum in such a way that whatever they learn, they can they can implement that in a day-to-day life as well. Again, I'm talking about different domain. Here moral development is there. Domain and spiritual domain should be focused, so they get an idea about the social domain and society of the surrounding. By having students study social or life situation, they not only the study way to improve the society, but become directly involved in the improvement. So they themselves itself the part of improvement process. They are not preacher, they are not the sadhu or sant. They try to give the moral message to the society, but here they are the agent. They are the person who are already involved in the social improvement process. The core design is again centered on the general education and is based on the problem arising out of common human activities. Whatever the human activities are there, social activities are there, out of them number of problems are arising, and to solve this kind of problems, core design must be focused in curriculum framework. Social problems and reconstruction design is little bit same in all these above two methods. Educational educators will affect the social change and create more just society. So whatever the social problems lacunas are there, whatever the evils presented in the society, that should be removed by the curriculum development or with the uh, curriculum design, so that social action projects aim at the reconstructing the society. So different perspectives are there. 5 theoretical perspective on curriculums are there. Those are the traditional, experiential, discipline, behavioral, and constructive approach curriculum perspectives are there. Now, discussing about what is the 5 this different perspective on curriculum and their central questions. So these are the traditional, what are the most important aspect of our cultural heritage that should be preserved. While framing this curriculum, while talking about the curriculum design, we can say that sometimes we have to preserve our cultural heritage as well, social rituals, whatever the society is following, that we have to pass through generation to generation. For that, we have to focus the traditional perspective of curriculum development. So sometimes we have to give some weightage to the our cultural tradition and heritage as well. Second one is what experiential. Experiential, what experiences lead to the healthy growth of the individual. So we have to provide them experience. We have to give them the practical knowledge. That is also very much important. So in this kind of perspective, more focus is given on the experiential knowledge. Third one is structure of the discipline. That is again, what is the structure of discipline of the knowledge? Whether you are coming from educational branch, art branch, then fine arts, or you can say the commerce, science, engineering. So from which discipline of knowledge you are coming? Based on that discipline, you have to frame your curriculum. Then fourth one is behavioral. At the complete at the completion of curriculum, what should be the learner to be able to do? So at the end of this particular any course, learner has to be perform some duties or perform his knowledge in a practical way. So that should be seen in their behavior. Sometimes we say that ભણ્યો પણ ગણ્યો નહીં. So sometimes the learner has learned so many things. He has a degree, he has gold medal with him, but he is not able to perform what he learned in a practical situation. So that should be seen in his behavior. And last one is cognitive. How can people learn to make sense of the world and think more productive and creative? That should be cognitive. Again, most of the curriculum is focused on the cognitive aspect or cognitive perspective of curriculum design, and we are putting too much content in a curriculum. So most of the time uh, learner are more conscious about getting marks, completing syllabus, reading more and more, but they are not ready to learn and understand that topic in a such a way that they can perform that knowledge in a practical way. These are the consideration of curriculum design, we can say that need analysis. First of all, we have to focus on need, why the curriculum is designed. So what are the need of the learners? What are the need of the society? What are the need of the institution? What are the need of employee? So all these things should be analyzed first of all. Then we have to think about the framing the curriculum. If we are not able to analyze the need, then what we think that we put in a curriculum. But if we analyze the need, then definitely we can go to the society, go to the stakeholders and perform that very well. Then second one is target group. How the target group? Who are the target groups? Who are my students? From which background they are coming? Whether they are coming from rural background, urban background, uh, they have a knowledge about their society, their context, everything. So target groups should be focused. Sometimes we are preparing the syllabus while I am coming from urban area, okay, and I am focusing. I have knowledge about the urban society only. So while framing the curriculum, I think only about the urban students. I never go to the rural area and I don't have knowledge about the rural or tribal area. Then my curriculum is based on the curriculum urban areas student only. So it might be difficult for those if the curriculum is applied to entire state or entire region. Then it might be difficult for those students who are not coming from urban or tribal sorry, not coming from urban areas, those who are coming from tribal areas or rural areas. So we have to think about the target group as well. Then we have to think about the aims and objectives of the curriculum. What are the aims? What are the objective should be achieved at the end of the course? So that we have to focus. Then which kind of content should be covered? That also we have to take into the consideration. So content, then learning theories, approaches and methods. So three different things are there. Theories are there, approaches are there, and different methods are there. That should also be focused while framing the while considering about the framing the curriculum. So different approaches are there, structural approach is there, functional approach is there. In the same way, different methods we have: lecture method, group discussion method, seminar method, assignment method, field visit method, case study method, and so on. Number of methods are there. So which methods we have to focus? Sometimes we are putting content in such a way that all the content should be delivered with lecture methods only. Sometimes some practical aspect or field visit or this kind of experiences should be provided with the curriculum. That also be a thing. Then personnel who are engaged in curriculum framework. So we have to include variety of personnel while considering the curriculum framework. So that should be generally professors are making this kind of curriculum. If you go through the textbook school textbook as well, most of the people are from universities or colleges. But nowadays the situation is changed. Even I have seen the textbook of Gujarat board. They are doing wonderful work. They involve the teachers as well, those who are teaching the subjects, the expert of the college, the expert from university as well, and expert from national level as well. All these personnel are very much important. In the same way, sometimes we have to consider the names of the students, past students as well. Okay, so all these personals are very much important. In the same way, material, while selecting the material, we have to select the material in such a way that that should be available to the students. Okay, and that should be in a limit. Sometimes we can see that number of topics are covered in particular paper and students are not able to cover all the topics, so they might omit some of the some important topics while appear in the examination. And teachers are also not able to complete the syllabus in a time frame because too much content is covered. So think while considering this curriculum framework, we have to think about the content and material selection as well. Then after all this process, 7 process, we are coming to eight step, that is monitoring and support. Constant monitoring and support should be given to the curriculum framework team. What they are doing, how they are doing, what are their needs, that should be provided. Even after the curriculum is framed, we have to implement that in a project pilot methods, pilot for doing piloting of that particular content. And while doing that piloting, we have to monitor what kind of the difficulties are faced by the students, faced by the teachers as well, faced by the school as well, so or college as well. So all these things should be think while considering the framework. Then assessment and evaluation I have talked earlier, and what are the constraint of the syllabus, that should also be think while what are the constraint of the curriculum, why the curriculum is not successful, why what are the problems occurred while implementing the curriculum in a classroom. So all these things should be think before the curriculum design. So I think I have covered most of the topics regarding the curriculum design. If you have any questions or any queries, you can contact me on my email address. I have already mentioned in front slide, or again I can say that you can contact me on Dr. Jignesh Patel, drjigp@gmail.com, or 9429429550. At this juncture, again I thank UGC HRDC Gujarat University for giving me a chance to deliver my lectures. Thank you very much.